Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Iris Energy is a stock that I've spoken about numerous times on this channel. And recently, it has taken a beating in the markets. So I did want to address why this is and whether or not I still think it is a good buy. Congrats to all those who have followed my advice with regards to taking profits. And let's talk about why we find ourselves below $7 today after the stock was basically at or peaked at above $15 July 5th. So only about a month ago. And we lost close to 50% of the value. So what is going on here? With Bitcoin miners, you really have to keep your tap that and sing shoes on. This is really the Bitcoin mining aspect of it is really a trade. It's not a long-term investment. So let's talk about uh, the immediate thing that investors have their sights on. And that is this company's July 2024 mining update. And I'm not going to pull any punches here. This was a bad update, not only for what they did include in the update, but what they didn't include. Namely, they didn't include any plans to address the things that were severely negative here. But they also didn't include anything about where their cash position is, where their at the market is in terms of how much dilution is left here. They didn't. The company should not have any debt. They didn't say anything about whether or not they added any more debt. So that was bad. Now, if we look at, let's see here. Okay. Uh, so they mentioned 222 Bitcoin mined in July, and if you compare that to what was mined in June and what was mined in May, it was slightly below those numbers. Not a big deal, not too much below. By the way, June and May we're talking post halving here, so halving uh, is not a factor. So we are comparing, apples and apples. The average operating hash rate that was down. Also, not really a cause for deep concern because of the reasons for the operating hash rate being down. So there's two reasons why the operating hash rate was down in July. Number one, they had scheduled downtime because of upgrades that they're doing. And number two, they had a defective batch of miners that they are working with the source supplier on fixing. Nothing to really cause that big of a concern. The mining revenue was down. Obviously, the price of Bitcoin was down. Also, the number of Bitcoin was down slightly, as we mentioned. What was really terrible in this update was the electricity cost per Bitcoin. So they mentioned the revenue per Bitcoin you'll see in July of 24 was 61,306. The electricity cost per Bitcoin was 61,677. So they actually lost money on gross. So the gross margin was negative. So that's before taking into account the overhead of administrative costs and paying employees. That's just Bitcoin mined versus electricity it costs to mine that Bitcoin. If you compare that with June and May, uh, June was 39,000 per Bitcoin, May was 35,000 per Bitcoin. So it jumped substantially to 61,000 in July. Now, the reason for this jump is they're in Texas. the demand for electricity shot up in July because of the weather, and the costs per unit for their mining operation in Childress went up basically almost to twice what it was the month before. So, what I wanted to see in this update was some talk about concrete steps to address this moving forward. I know that weather is going to get cooler. It's not going to remain this hot, and I know that we are expecting the price of Bitcoin to go up again. So price should go up. So revenue should go up. Cost should go down. We should get back into positive margin like we were in June and May. In June, gross margin was 41%. In May, it was 46%, or what they're calling hardware profit margin. But I wanted to see some more proactive steps from management to address this electricity cost issue. What they did give was some pretty vague, without details, steps that they were taking. We'll talk about them in a second. Now, the silver lining in this update, and the reason why I have Iris Energy still, is because of their AI cloud services business and their access to energy, which is quite substantial. So their AI cloud services business revenue was 1.2 million. Electricity cost was 19,000. Their hardware profit margin is what 98%. So 98% for the AI cloud services business, -1% for their Bitcoin mining business. So they have a really great business in their AI cloud services. They have a stinky business in their Bitcoin mining business. And typically, Bitcoin mining, honestly, as a business, kind of stinks. Um, if Bitcoin is going sideways, if it's going down, it stinks. It's not a great business to be in terms of profitability. If Bitcoin is shooting up, then this is the one time where it's actually a good business to be in. And that's why these Bitcoin miners are really trades. They're not long term investments, unless, of course, they have robust AI cloud services businesses, which are extremely good businesses. And so, if I'm the management of Iris Energy, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, wait a second, why the heck are we investing so much into Bitcoin mining when AI cloud services is a much better business? It's a much easier business. It's a much more stable business. We control our own destiny. We're not necessarily beholden to the price of Bitcoin every given day and week and month. And things happen. Brokerages go down. Hacks happen. Certain sovereign governments are selling their Bitcoin, and there's so much volatility there. With AI cloud services, this is part of a secular trend that's going to last for years to come. Let's invest more here. And I think this is the logical pivot that perhaps has already started with Iris Energy, but I expect to see more of it in the near future, wherein new investment is basically focused on this AI cloud services business, which makes way more sense. By the way, one thing I noticed was for AI cloud services, 816 NVIDIA H100 GPUs. That number hasn't changed. I'd like to see that number start to increase. I understand there's a lot of demand for NVIDIA GPUs, but let's see this number increase. And really, the company should be doubling down on their cloud services and AI investments. And I think it will. I mean, it's an obvious opportunity for the company. So for the July operations, average operating hash rate was impacted by planned outages for upgrades. So I mentioned that T21 miner performance due to a batch production issue. So they got a bad batch of miners. Bitmain is in the process. So Bitmain is the source company. They're in the process of replacing old effective units. So this should be an aberration, not something that's um, consistent month to month. Increased electricity costs in July were primarily attributable to higher energy pricing in the summer months at Childress in Texas, but with much lower than expected energy market volatility, so they had less energy trading opportunities. The company. So this is the sort of ambiguous statement that they gave that I wanted to see more details about, more confidence. Um, from the company with regards to how are they going to solve this gross margin issue that they have for their Bitcoin mining operation. The company is reassessing its future energy pricing structures. Okay, tell me more, please. Um, now, positive news: current fleet efficiency of 24 joules per terahash is expected to improve to 17 joules per terahash. So the amount of energy that is needed per terahash of mining power should go down. So lower joules per terahash is what we want. So going from 24 to 17, that's a big step up in efficiency. And they're expecting this by the end of next month as part of their expansion to 20 exahash. So, okay, here we have some, we have a path forward to profitability for their Bitcoin mining, even if we were to set aside the anticipated increase in the Bitcoin's price and the decrease in electricity. So, for people, for investors who are, panicked about the future of the company, I would say, first of all, July was probably somewhat of an aberration in terms of the price of Bitcoin versus the price of electricity. And it is not representative of what we expect the efficiency of the mining of Iris Energy to be. So we expect the efficiency to go up for their mining operation. We expect the price of Bitcoin to go up. We expect the price of electricity to go down as we exit the peak summer months. So that should um, give us better updates, mining updates for future months. And they are saying that the 2024 expansion is on schedule. That being said, it's kind of making me nervous that they have 10.5 exahash installed as of August 5th, 2024, and they're expecting to get to 20 exahash by the end of next month. So there's a lot of exahash that needs to be installed between now and the end of next month, and that's not a lot of time. But they're saying everything's on schedule, so we'll take them for their word at this point. AI cloud services. This is the good business, the one that they should be really leaning into. I mean, you have two pathways for making the same dollar. One is really easy, one is really hard. Which one should you be focused on? Well, the really easy one. And I think Iris Energy will be doing this. It's okay if they, take advantage of this Bitcoin bull run, which is anticipated, which I anticipate, which I think is still um, has a lot of juice left in it. It's okay, but you have to be thinking beyond the bull run. After the bull run, how are you going to sustain and grow? AI cloud services, I think, is the answer. If you look at the cloud services revenue, it increased by 17% versus June, 42% versus May. So they're still chugging along there. Fleet is currently fully utilized, so they need to expand. Serviced 6 end customers to date across the reserved and on-demand market, so they're gaining experience with this, and they're planning to launch the Childress GPU pilot in the second half of 2024. So silver lining there, so some capacity increase for the AI cloud services. They have 510 megawatts of data centers in 2024, at least planned out. So they're going to add 100 in Q3 and another 150 in Q4. So I'm reading here. Childer's power capacity increased from 600 megawatts to 750 megawatts. Good. And by the way, just to remind you, Morgan Stanley put a report out that basically put the value per watt at around $5 to $12 for watts that were servicing data centers. So this is really valuable for the company, this access to power. Now, if you look here at the capacity megawatts column, they're saying that the total megawatt capacity for the company in terms of access to power is greater than 3,000 megawatts. So if you were to use the Morgan Stanley estimate and apply it here, you're talking about now additional investments need to be made here. This is not ready to be used in terms of using the power for AI, cloud servicing. But if we use the Morgan Stanley estimate, there's 15 to 30 billion dollars of value to be unlocked if this power is used for the AI cloud services business. And to give you an idea of what this means in terms of upside for investors, right now the market cap of the company is 1.3 billion after the fall that we've experienced in the last month. So there's a lot of upside here if management does things right. I'm hopeful that they will, and we should get some additional information about management's thinking from the Iren Analyst and Investor Day, the annual growth conference, August 13 to 15, and there's a bunch of other events happening that Iris Energy will be a part of in the tail end of August. And so hopefully we get some color with regards to management's thinking there. All this being said, the reason that I am bullish on Iris Energy is because I think they need to make investments in the low single digit billions um, into their locations in order to unlock 15 to 30 billion in value from their access to power. So at 1.3 billion in terms of a market cap, you can see the upside there. And now after now that the stock is less than $7, I think that this is actually a pretty good entry point. With these Bitcoin miners, they kind of take turns in terms of when they run, and this Bitcoin run, every single time when investor sentiment has turned very bearish, it's been a very good time to buy. And so I think right now is perhaps one of those times where you're getting good value for what you're buying. Not financial advice. Be sure to do your own due diligence. If I had to guess, I think that this stock will peak this bull run probably north of $17, close to $20, and that may be a time, depending on how I see its cloud services, and obviously depending on dilution, that might change. But depending on how I see their cloud services business going, I may decide to sell everything, that is, and get out of the position entirely. I do think that so the reason why I'm in Iris is because of their cloud services business and their healthy access to power. If I wanted to pick a Bitcoin miner, it'd probably be BitDeer because of their vertical integration. And actually, for Bitdeer, their cost for mining Bitcoin has remained basically the cheapest amongst the public miners. So I think Bitdeer is the if you're looking for Bitcoin mining, I think Bitdeer is where it is. If you're looking for AI cloud services, I think Iris Energy has a shot to be to be a leader there and really create a lot of shareholder value. With that, I hope this has been useful. Do leave a like. Let me see if there's any questions. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam, chocolate. Wallah, nice to see you. Rashad, nice to see you. Welcome back. Arkan, some analysts are staying away from the market until November. What is your thought? I think that's the wrong move. I think maybe we continue to chop until November. But I think if you have a 6 to 12 months time horizon, you should be DCAing dollar cost averaging into your favorite positions. Abdullah says, Sam Arkan, do you think that Iron has reached its lowest point? Is it wise to DCA to Iron given these updates? Yes, I think I mentioned that. I think DCA at these prices is a good idea. Not financial advice. This is what I would do. With dips in Bitdeer and Iron, which one should we buy? So I'm more bullish on Bitdeer than I am Iron. Do with that what you want. But I still think Iron is a great company, a great choice. And I think it will probably double from here, if not more, in the next 6 to 12 months. So I hope that was useful. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.